It is that time of the week again when we review all of the ways in which the media covers themselves in glory with our great friend Katie Halper. She is, of course, co-host of the Useful Idiots podcast and host of the Katie Halper Show. Great to see you, Katie.
Good to see you, Katie.
You guys too.
Yeah.
All right, so we had some interesting ratings news, Sagar.
This is amazing, really, and predictable. Fox News is getting clobbered in the ratings. Let's put MSNBC's tweet up there on the screen. They said, thank you for our low review. They are the #1 cable for the first time ever. Now, people need to understand how significant that is. Fox, of course, still won in February in terms of total primetime viewers, but the fact that they were unseated for the first time ever for the #1 cable station is very significant. What's going on, Katie? Fox, a victim of their own success, a victim of Trump? What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that MSNBC's rise is understandable. What the 11th Hour was one of them. I mean, like, who beats Brian Williams? Engaging analysis, upbeat tone. I mean, I can't believe people watch that. That's like, I would use that instead of like the Calm app or Ambien. To go to sleep. You know what I mean? It's like,
I confess I've never once watched it, ever.
Well, or maybe you started to and you fell asleep and you don't remember. But yeah, he's so. I mean, yeah, but you blocked it out. But I guess it's not shocking in some ways. I mean, I know that some people predicted that with the Russiagate stuff deflated, that maybe they would lose some cred. I knew that would never happen because all the people who believe that still believe it, or they don't care because they care about like emotional validation. And they identified so much in this weird pathological way with MSNBC hosts and guests that it was never really about any empirical evidence. But I did think maybe they would go down a little bit just in terms of what the hell they would be talking about. But I guess now they just have like a love fest about how much they love Biden, how great Biden is. And I think the most exciting terrain that they're now entering, of course, is the white male privilege checking. I don't know if you guys have this clip of John Brennan.
We do.
Yes.
We do. Yeah. Why don't we play that for everybody?
Yeah.
That's why we started with Katie Benner's great new reporting about the investigation into police officer. It renders, at best hypocritical, at worst cynical and false, any notion that the Republicans care about the lives and the safety of law enforcement.
Well, I must say, to Claire's point, I'm increasingly embarrassed to be a white male these days. And light of what I see of my other white males saying.
Oh, man.
Okay. I mean, listen, John, I'm speaking to you as a woman, okay? You should be embarrassed about yourself, but not because you're a white man. And where was your, allyship when you were defending and helping torture happen? I don't think the victims of torture, they probably are wishing that you had that solidarity earlier on, that self-awareness, and maybe you would have checked your privilege and decided not to torture brown people. I guess it's better late than never. But, I mean, that is such a great clip. It's just performative nonsense. And you have a Bush person. Remember, I don't know if MSNBC officially has a Bush to MSNBC pipeline, but they certainly have, an unofficial program that they're...
That's true. His daughter, his former press secretary, John Brennan.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Katie, I think part of what they've done is... the January 6th Capitol riots kind of kept them in business because they were, they were looking at a really rough time with the Biden administration. Right. They don't have any. There are lots of critiques of Joe Biden, but they don't really have any that they want to offer. So their whole game is always let's go all in on the Republicans. Let's have every single story be Trump is bad, Republicans are bad, it's the end of the country, it's the end of the world, et cetera. And with this event that truly was awful and horrendous and scary and a failure in a lot of ways, that's kind of given them a thread to allow them to continue, whereas Fox News is out there trying to figure out how to gin up outrage over Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, in many ways, the January 6th event is the kind of the new Russiagate event, right? It's different because January 6th actually happened. But it's a similar opportunity. And, of course, I'm not downplaying January 6th. And I think it was, regardless of how significant you think it is, it was absolutely, unprecedented. I think that it has been overblown in terms of how much of a kind of the effect of it and how much it signifies the undoing of democracy. I think a lot of other things signify the undoing of democracy. But but I do think that it's kind of a way they don't have to talk about anything, right, except for that. And then the Dems, they're celebrated because they're not that, or they're not the party that enabled that. So it's really a godsend, I think, for the Dems, honestly, January 6th. And they get to talk about defending democracy and freedoms, but they don't have to do anything about it. And they don't have to. I mean, look what's happening with the fight for 15 or the $15 minimum wage. It's certainly not a fight for that. They fought harder for Neera Tanden than for 15. And now I don't know what happened there. They came to their senses, I guess, with Tanden. But yeah, I think that what you're saying is true, that they have this narrative to latch onto. And I also do think that, there's no better network if you want to find enablers of sexual predators. There's no better network than MSNBC. They've really carved that out. And we saw that when they had, Nicole Wallace. I'm still inviting you to acknowledge the fact that you had on Steve Schmidt consistently. Has anyone apologized for that? Has anyone even asked any of those Lincoln Project guys to respond to this? So,
Katie, in fairness, CNN has their own claims in that regard, and Fox News has a long history there. So I think you're being very unfair singling out MSNBC as carving out that niche.
Yeah, you're right. They're just they're not trailblazers, but they're catching up. That's what
they're catching up. There you go.
Yes,
they're catching up. Yeah.
Katie, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
And we'll have more Rising for you later today.